financially. And so when you hear that they ripped, it wasn't just a rip, it was due to the financial strain and having to actually try to make it throughout the June school year so that we
Teachers can get paid.
Yep.
That's the difference for us,
Paycheck.
was teachers getting paid. Now, as far as the probation notice, both of us were in on this conversation, and we were both advised that if we did everything that we could to partner with the SCSC and speak to their marketing department in order to help us with enrollment and recruitment, get our team going heavy with marketing and recruitment to get the numbers up and show that we can stabilize operations by the June 7th deadline, that we would continue to open this year under a probationary status. And we are working diligently to deliver the items to the SCSC so that we can continue on as RISE for the rest of our charter, and then apply again for a new charter.
They were due today at 5 p.m.
And they were delivered. I worked very hard on the marketing materials along with Watson and her team to make sure that they were delivered before I left my job to come for this public hearing for the budget at 5 o'clock.
For the board that you serve, not
Yes,
this.
right, and I serve proudly. So yes, that's where we stand as far as the SCSC. There's another deliverable regarding finances and how we're gonna sustain, and I think it's really great that the numbers came in at 463, because although it's not 500, it's still better than what we project.
Correct. So there were deliverables due May 15th and May 27th. And so we have a hard deadline. And June 7th is when the SCSC will let us know whether we're going to be in operations next year. And those are some of the things that were shared yesterday with the staff. And so we are prepared to, we're gonna post the information on the website for the parents and the community, because we're truly trying to operate with transparency. You know, I know there's been some things that happened in the past, but moving forward, we are really trying to be upfront and transparent with communication.
And let's try to get that up there tonight.
How
with the
long was that
notice and the
probation letter
response.
sent? When was the probation letter mailed?
Oh, that's it right there.
All right, next on the list is,
Oh, but we're still talking about it because it's
no,
like.
this is a board meeting and it's the board chair
Yeah, but
report.
it's,
Your part is
we're the
reserved for
stakeholders.
public
What?
comment.
What is that? Put it back.
It's the letter.
Next on the
probation letter.
agenda, Watson, are we done talking about this probation?
It's a
notice?
probation
I mean, I feel like we delivered all that we could today.
It's a
So, yeah.
probation.
Print the letter.
The next
Don't
item
bounce
on
around if you're gonna talk about transparency.
the next item on the agenda is department reporting and execution.
Can you print the letter? Print the letter.
That we had hoped to discuss with the school community about how we can sit down and talk about.
Probation notice. Can somebody second my motion?
Second, third, fourth, fifth. Put the letter back up.
Thank you. There it is. Can we go ahead? I already motioned it. I've already motioned it.
There you go. Yes, it is. There you go.
We're gonna move on down the agenda for the year-end roads, departmental reporting and expectations, and policy development to continue.
Its governing board has demonstrated an inability to provide effective leadership or otherwise oversee the state charter school operations.
We have several of you in the audience that we would love for you to sign up to join the board. You're very local, you have experience.
Child, they don't want me up there, honey. They gonna take
There
my
is
ass
a
off.
button on the website if you want to
got the
continue and you want to apply to be a member of the board.
Nothing.
For some of the board
There
members.
are fundraising efforts underway to bolster our funding for next year.
So are we gonna talk about the
And with
probation
that,
notice?
we can,
Public comment.
work you for to an end, and we can open the meeting to public comment.
Thank you.
4 pages long. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
What does this mean, man?
You signed up for public comment, ma'am? Yes, you can.
Well, we would like to talk about this. why you
If
have
you
to.
signed up for public comment, yes, we are more than happy to hear your public comment.
Okay, but you have to be able to break down the entire letter so that stakeholders know what the
As Dr.
probationary
Watson
is.
noted, the letter, and I'm gonna repeat it, the letter regarding the probationary status will be posted on the website.
We have
It should
to,
have been posted yesterday.
As well as our response to the
the
FCSC.
probation letter is printed out.
We're
There's no
gonna call,
need to
ask
beat
that the
around the
meeting
bush
be called
with
to
it.
order.
There's no need to beat
We're
around the
gonna
bush
ask
with
that the
it.
meeting be called to order.
And we're gonna ask for the probation
Dr.
notice.
Pierre, could you go
We
ahead?
want to talk
and
about the
take
probation
public comment?
notice. So are you gonna address
At each
it?
of its board meetings, the Rice Group will designate a time for public comments that allows families and community members, stakeholders
Are
to
you
address
paying
the
her
board
extra to
directly.
read this when you could have read it
Each
yourself?
speaker will be allowed a maximum of
I think
5
she's off the
minutes
clock now.
for his or her
No, I'm
public
not gonna
comment.
leave. I'm not. My child
The
goes to
public
school.
comment
no.
period is for each
I don't care. I'm not
means
leaving.
that if the
Because at the
speaker
end of the
uses
day,
his or her
my
allotted
child is
3
affected
minutes,
by
that a
you board
maximum of 5
members who
speakers
are
will
very
be allowed to give
incompetent,
public
very
comment at the
unprofessional. You think
specific
it's a
meeting.
game, you think it's a joke, it's not.
Alternatively,
I
if
work
each
very
speaker
hard
uses
along
1
with these
minute
other
to give
parents to provide my child a very good lifestyle while you sit here and you smirk and you think that it's funny, but it's not. I'm not leaving out.
She ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. First Amendment right. There you go. Stop. No, sir. Yeah, constitutional laws. You better come on now.
She really think it's funny and it's not. She's unprofessional for one as a black woman. And as a black woman in a professional business, that's why white
She's
people
not
laugh at
leaving.
us.
She has the right to express her freedom of speech. We have constitutional laws. Go, goodbye.
So I'm going to start, and let me just start by saying, I find this board to be quite disgusting.
Ms. Adesola,
Yes.
could you hold on a moment? Dr. Sample, we're not gonna ask her to be removed, but we'd like
I
to,
wasn't going anywhere.
we'd like to.
Not at all.
With
I
respect to
wasn't
the
going
public
anywhere
comment.
anyway.
Just having a conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Sample.
This needs to be.
Tripping.
So I find this board to be disgusting. I really don't want a response.
Thank you. Thank you.
My statement. I
Girl.
started graduate school, my graduate career at Vanderbilt University. One of the first things that I learned about was the contentious relationship between the Vanderbilt community and the underserved community within Nashville. This harmed relationship was due to the fact that some Vanderbilt researchers were going into communities, assuming positions of authority, not listening to the voices of the people within those communities, and advocating for policies and change that further harm the community. Because of their status, these researchers assumed that they knew better than the experts within the community. They belittled, used, and brushed off the concerns of those whose voices should have been lifted up because they thought they knew better.
Thank you.
Rise had a similar problem. At every juncture during this school year, people who assumed that they knew best for Rise made decisions without fully engaging the stakeholders that we all know, and we know that they have further harmed the school community. Instead of having transparent conversations with parents, teachers, and school leadership and community stakeholders, the governing body thought that this community was so simple that we would be impressed with visits from Thelma and Brumman. Like Mr. Washington, they assumed our ignorance.
Thank you.
Instead of listening to the voices that
It's
were
math.
cutting bus routes due to the amount of students who those buses served, bus routes were cut. When told that a snake schedule would not allow for us to serve all of our students with disabilities, K through 8, not only was the snake schedule kept, but more special education staff was let go from an already understaffed department.
Thank you.
When told that we were not in a good space with special education, what does this governing body decide to do? Get thousands of dollars behind on paying our service providers to the point where they have to go to the state and threaten legal action. It is insane for a school district to not have a school psychologist. That greatly impacts the most vulnerable youth that we serve.
That's right.
After working hard to get this school off the TSI list, every decision that we tried to make to ensure that we do not get back on the TSI list was shut down or ignored. It is insane that relationships that we worked hard to build were fractured by outsiders who seem to be acting in while teachers and staff members are forced to buy basic materials, take on 20 roles without an increase in pay, and work in a building full of roaches that smells like old pee, board members who I'm sure, and new staff that we barely see, that I'm sure are making exorbitant salaries, are nowhere to be found. These people have been able to come in, line their pockets, and further harm vulnerable Black and brown.
Hey, type up budget reports on Word document.
Despite once again the rude comments made by Mr. Washington, I have attended almost every board meeting in my 3 years here at RISE. It is truly disgusting and traumatizing to have to go through this yet again due to the incompetence, poor ethics, and carelessness and lust for power. When I leave this place, I will feel no shame and hold my head high because I know that I came to work and did my best despite the lack of support that the special education department receives. However, this board should feel shame. You should feel ashamed that you have had an entire year to recruit more board members, have fundraisers, and figure something out, and instead have tried to point fingers and pass the buck to already
everybody
overwhelmed
else.
educators. You should feel ashamed for failing Black and brown youth so that you can add to your resume or say that you served on a board. You should feel ashamed for sitting on your phone for an entire board meeting dancing. For having an attitude when questions are asked when you're the board chair. You should feel ashamed for inappropriately laughing during board meetings. You should feel ashamed for letting things get this far.
Yep.
You all should not be able to sit on another board or hold any position that impacts the education and lives of underserved Black and brown youth.
Or be near
I
children.
leave with this. One of my favorite units from when I taught high school English language arts was Julius Caesar and the discussions that we would have around the theme of power. The quote, "Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely," beautifully captures the failure of RISE. You all have too much power, want more power, and have become corrupt in your pursuit of said power. Move out the way.
Thank you, Ms. Abisola. The next public comment. Thank you, Ms. Abisola. The next public comment is from Ajay Bagley. Ms. Bagley, we ask that you please respect the 3 minutes time period as
I'm ready for my
time
topic.
is almost up, and I'm sure other members of the community will like to
Grab young.
we have the meeting called to order so that we can hear from Ms. Bagley. And we have the meeting called to order so that we can hear from Ms. Bagley.
What come first? What come first? Or
Can we have the meeting called to order, please, or we're eating up the 15 minutes? Eating up the 15
the team is, you better take it. Come on, be quiet. Go ahead and talk.
I am a parent here at RISE. My son has been here since first grade. My daughter, he's in the 7th grade now. My daughter's in the 5th grade. She's been here since first grade. This is disgusting.
Thank you.
I should not be at the end of the year trying to figure out if
Way to
this
put the
school
kids.
is going to be open yet again.
Again.
Now, you want to do teacher retention. Their contracts are due in March or April, if I'm not mistaken. So they have to figure out what they're going to do for the next year. Who in their right mind would stay if they're not sure if they're going to get paid?
Thank you.
Me as a parent, my children are disheartened. They are discouraged because half of their teachers left because they were not sure if they were going to get paid. How are you going to retain the numbers, the 430 that you have now, if you're not even sure if we're going to be open? And then the way that you're
I know. Feel it.
behaving in here, you give respect to
Get respect.
You're being very disrespectful regardless of your position. I'm just utterly disgusted because I want my children to stay here, but not under these circumstances. They are not receiving what they're being deserved.
Yes.
Point blank period. They should be the focus.
Thank you. No time for that. We're going to keep this rolling. Ooh. can't feel that when you ain't got a soul.
Don't even
When you lack a soul, you can't feel none of this.
Ms. Brown?
Thank you, Dr. Wiseman. So first and foremost, I want to say this. My kids, I've been in Atlanta, Georgia for 8 years. I have 3 of my scholars that are here. I have 2 of them that are on prep, 2 that are on grammar. 1 just started first grade. My kids have a relationship with all these teachers. I know all these teachers by first name. I've been here that long. I've never seen you, or you. Y'all don't come to none of our stuff. Where are you doing Black History Month? You want to know the only person I see? Dr. Watson. She was here. You want to know who stays here late in these speeches? Dr. Watson. This is 80+ parents that if you guys don't resign, we gone. I got 20 parents going with me, and if y'all don't resign, we leaving. And we sure won't leave if Dr. Watson decides to leave, because she the only reason half of us are sticking in. Half of these faculty are sticking in. And then y'all disrespectful, but let me ask y'all this. When y'all ask y'all kids to go to a school that is doing this?
No, they would not.
You have another school. Does your other school go through the things they go through? The
No,
other
they do
ones
not.
do? No, it doesn't. Yeah, I've done my homework, and I want to ask you this also. Let me ask you this also. When y'all gonna come and help these teachers with enrollment? I sit up here, I donate printers, copy paper, snacks. I do all of this. Y'all ain't even got a PTA because y'all scared to have a PTA because y'all scared that they gonna upshine y'all and take y'all job. Y'all need to step down because you know what? Y'all, we on probation now. Tell me why we on probation. Can you tell me why we on probation?
Thank you. So what time
Can you tell me why we on probation? No, we can't, because y'all can't even do nothing as simple as a document. My 7th grader right there could probably pull up a better summary of the budget than you can.
Microsoft Word.
Thank you. Thank you. My 7th grader over there can probably do a lot better job than all of y'all. These ain't y'all kids, so y'all don't give a fuck about our kids.
There you go. You better
Y'all
say
kids,
it.
y'all grandkids, nieces, nephews, don't go here. So it don't affect y'all's life. But like she said, y'all stay lining y'all pockets. When I done lost family members, I got teachers that are still by my side. Miss Cook, they'll be here. When they said my son couldn't read, you want to know who got back to read? Who proved all them people wrong? Miss Cook. PM. She done sit here and worked hours to hours. And then that's just a few teachers. You got to talk about the principal. I mean, come on. Where are y'all? I never see y'all at nothing that they do for this school.
Nope.
Nothing. Y'all gonna look up next year and y'all gonna have nobody here. Nobody here.
And be on the FBI investigation.
This is the second year we went through this and we tired of it.
Yep. Thank you. Hell, I can't report them to the FBI. Girl, just stop.
Thank you. While we're at 15 minutes, we'll go ahead and take a few more public comments and give everybody the opportunity to get their thoughts out.
I told y'all to do that. So, the reason why this probation thing exists is because it says clearly on here that the governing board, that's you all, has demonstrated an inability to provide effective leadership or otherwise oversee the state charter schools' operations. You all have a state charter contract with the Department of Education. Why in the world can you not abide by the contractual obligations from the Georgia Department of Education to remain in compliance? Let me explain something to you. My oldest son, who graduated from 8th grade last year, lost one of the best teachers that we've ever had here, Mr. John Goodwin. This man transitioned on and he is no longer with us. My son had to get counseling for that. That is how much of a connection that these teachers have with these children. My children have been here for at least 4 years, and you all are sitting here failing to abide by an SCSE compliance report. Whatever they ask you to do it because you don't have a choice. I don't know why you all think that you cannot abide by compliance rules that are state regulated, federally regulated, based on laws and governing regulations and policies and procedures to remain funded. We should not be here a year later worried about where to put our kids. Some of these kids don't have any other option. This is the better of the option aside from this for a public school that can't give them anything. And you all don't care. How many of you got kids here? None. Do you all have children? Let's start with that. Are you parents? I'm a mother. This is traumatizing for the kids to have to sit here and worry about every year, am I coming back to this school? budget for funding you don't have yet. So if you're going to do that, put it where you know you're going to get back that money. I don't care what that service is, it should not be hundreds of thousands of dollars in that budget for any reason whatsoever. Because right now I can give a crap about who has sat here and given you all money, thousands of dollars, and y'all are worried about them getting paid back, but not a bus ride. Where the pride is. So stop making my children pay for your dumb decisions that you can't seem to be coming here and make.
Thank you for your comments.
on video. I'm gonna upload it to my YouTube channel. I'm exposing all of that.
Go ahead, Ms.
I
McFarland.
asked y'all. in
Doing this
February,
nonsense.
I had asked y'all about your efforts. And then I came with facts because I didn't want to get up here speaking ignorantly concerning your application as board member. So I wanted to go a little further and figure out what Georgia says about board members and what your obligation is. One of those obligations is not for the CFO to report to y'all.
Not at all.
It's for him to report to the person that runs the day-to-day. Y'all are out of order.
That completely.
Y'all were out of order last year. When y'all had us embarrassing ourselves because we were ignorant of what the situation was because y'all did not make us aware. It is y'all job to make us aware as the staff of what is going on, what the state is communicating to you, and at the time what Fulton was communicating to y'all, and y'all did not. Lyra, you were in that meeting in Fulton, and your direct answer to them was, we did not know. For that alone, you should resign.
Come on here.
You didn't know? That is ignorant, and that is not acceptable from a board president at all.
That's proud of it.
And Jones, you have excellent ideas. You are very resourceful, but it always comes in the fourth quarter when we are down 20, with 10 seconds left on the clock. What can we do with that? We can't do anything with that. And I'm just discussing because here the board is not the owner of the school.
Lady Luck Club.
The public is. The parents, the teachers, the students.
Separate word. Lady Luck.
We want y'all gone because y'all work for us.
L-U-C-K.
And if we keep saying this, y'all are doing no different than what historically has been done to black and brown people. Then y'all come in here, you sir, and you gaslight us by saying that these parents don't normally come. They don't come because people who are in situations and positions like you and I, we usually hide that information from. And then you know what we did this morning? We went car to car because we want them to know. You know what I did this school year? Because I do my job, I went to 2 parents' funerals. Because we care and we do our job, but y'all are not doing your job. You're not. For that alone, you should resign.
Thank
I asked again in February and March, were you going to resign, and you ignored it. I asked you last year, were you going to resign? The answer should be yes. Dr. Simmons,
We're not asking, we just put them on social media.
please raise your hand if you have submitted for a board member, to a possible board member to join this board. How did she beat out all of their suggestions? Were you here last year? Were you here last year? Where you said parents can sit on the board. When you click on the website, there's no application.
Not at all.
Contact us. That's not an application. For that alone, y'all are constantly out of order. So hold on. Because what I don't like for us to do when we are in situations where we can educate people, come up here and gaslight them and dismiss us. Lyra, you really tried to gaslight me in the beginning, and I'm not gonna let this slide. When in the beginning of the meeting, you asked me where the snacks at. We don't even have that type of relationship. Where the snacks at? No. Desmond Hardy came here last week for Teacher Appreciation Week, but y'all didn't even give us a card. There was 36 donuts. And then the man said he'll be right back and never came back. So if you can't even simply honor something as a donut, and let me address this too, because $65,000, you want to know what that is? That is from $14 million debt that this board signed on for.
Good Lord!
We don't even have access to. And you, sir, serve as a CFO for the school down the street who's doing very well, who probably will come up here and own this very new building that we're going to have. It is not acceptable. If y'all need to resign, if y'all
Get on somewhere. Come on with it. Girl, put that mic down. We still.
Last public comment as we are voting.
Line up.
We are going to ask
ask that you maintain order.
Line up. Line up here.
Ma'am, we're gonna ask that you maintain order. We've gone above the 15 minutes.
It don't matter. You got these teachers upset.
I was off at 6 o'clock. I think these parents.
We're gonna take one more comment. We're gonna take one more comment, and then we're going to adjourn the meeting.
You can go home if you want, honey. You ain't got to stay here. You can go home. How about that? You go home. You go home. You go home. You go home. You don't want to hear it no more? Go home, Laura Sterling. You go home, Laura.
I think the parents also want the answers.
Can you get some order, please? Let the parents speak. Talk about 15 minutes. Everybody has said what they need to say.
Look at the ruckus they're causing. The teachers are angry with them.
I don't know what to do. Here you go. I got you. So we got some questions, and one of the first questions is, has the commission been reimbursed for the difference in funds?
They not answering questions. They call it comments, and that's it. Because weirdness. Get ready to go home. Go home. Go home.
Your time is about to expire.
No, we're not. You go home.
It's okay. I wrote this while I was sitting down. She don't want to have a conversation, that's completely fine. I'm not going to ask you guys to resign. I'm going to motion the dissolution of the board because of the unethical business practices that you guys employ, such as financial fraud,
Yep.
manipulation of the budget,
Yep.
and/or statements, failure to protect the stakeholder interest. Do I need to give an example of that?
Fraudulent reporting is a fraud. It's a crime.
The lack of integrity and communication, and poor performance and failure to embody the principles and core values of the state charter, school commission, and RISE. So I motion to dissolve this board. Can somebody second that motion?
Amen. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. If she don't want to hear the motion, go home.
Bye. Somebody can go home. We're done.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
You're done.
People have spoken and you're ending the list. That's why I don't understand. That's why we're in the situation we're in now, because you refuse to follow policy. You don't want to hear the truth. I'm new to RISE. I just got you can roll your eyes and pop your neck and do all of
Don't nobody care either.
But you don't want to hear the truth of what is going on in this building. We got kids cleaning up the building. Yes, I'm tired of that. Mr. Dr. Watson, but you don't want to hear it. Can I have my meeting brought to order?
No, you may not. You can go home, half of them. Go home. It's so late.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Is there a second to the motion?
People are worse. They the worst. This is stupid.
There's a motion on the floor.
She don't even work here.
All in favor of adjourning today's meeting? Aye. With that, today's board meeting of the RISE Group is adjourned at 7:20. Thank you. So we not
She need to go home. She need to go home.